Hello, it's Purple City Soufflé Sunday Club. It's episode 10. And, well, if you're wondering where the other 9 episodes were, we wrote those. We realised recording them live with a bucket of beers was far more fun. And to be honest, no one reads anything these days. So
Fair, I don't read anything anymore, and I'm the one who's writing them as well. So yeah.
don't even read. We don't even proofread them before we put them up anymore. So we thought we'd record them. So it's episode 10, and we've gone for the early era John Carpenter classic, 1980s The Fog.
So you're tuned in to myself, Ashley Hill, and young Bayfield over here to the
Hello.
side of the table, and and we're going to go over The Fog.
For those who haven't seen it, we'll sort your lives out initially. It's a story of a small town in Somewheresville, America. San Antonio Bay.
Not that good, no. Not Ibiza.
It's not Ibiza, no. Oh, The Fog set in Ibiza would be great, though. I mean, maybe it's primed for an EDM remake,
I think it's high time, yeah.
Tech House Pirates sees shit one-star hotel.
It's important that, for anyone who has seen The Fog before, we're not talking about the 2005 bag of shit. We're talking about the 1980 classic. So,
which, actually, if you want to break it down, is kind of a bag of shit, too.
A smaller bag of shit.
But it's a better bag. Yeah, exactly. It's a bag of shit versus a trough of shit. But yeah, so the basic plot, for those who haven't seen it, is there's a curse on the small town of San Antonio Bay, and oh god. So anyway, there's a curse on the port of Ibiza, and there's no good pingers anymore. Just ones where you're destined to shit yourself. No.
Basically, the radio DJ has done a little shitload of acid. Now she's singing shit in the water. And yeah, that's just how it goes.
But yeah, basically, a load of fog hits a town, and there's a bunch of pirates in the fog that kind of murder people when the fog gets to them. And, I mean, that is essentially it. But yeah. Right, so we open, as many of these horror films do, with the old salty sea dog round the fireside telling the local children about, the classic old town legends, all that usual shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a bit too kind of stereotypical now, isn't it? Of the whole sort of 10 years ago, this man was
doing a
haunting
thing
his
and
house, and the thing came out of nowhere and ate all of the children. So, but
apparently, when the original edit was like less than 70 minutes long. When they shot it, so they had to add more in just to pad it out to feature length, and this was one of the things they added on.
Yeah.
And apparently in post-production, Carpenter realised the film just didn't work, so they basically needed an old dude on the front to explain the whole plot.
Yeah.
Which is more or less what he does. It's like the story's about a group of pirates on a ship, and they're basically the town founders 100 years before sink the ship with a load of gold on it. Because the guy wants to start a leper colony or something slightly left field.
It's always the fucking lepers, isn't it?
I mean, they're not the most convenient of people to have in your town.
I wouldn't trust them with gold either. So yeah, it's probably a good thing that he actually polished them off, I guess.
So yeah, in essence, the town leaders decide to sink this ship and keep all the gold, which obviously obligatory curse results, and boo, ghost story. But that's not the point. Anyway.
What is the point?
Well, the point is, we then cut from there to a church where a phenomenally pissed up priest.
Great man.
He's an absolutely brilliant man. He's without doubt the best thing in the film. But yeah, there's a pissed up priest who just subtly drinks every scene, and he's pottering around, closing up at the end of the evening, and it just gets to midnight on the night before the 100th anniversary of the town, which is obviously when the boat was sunk. And the old walls crack, and he discovers some bits and bobs. There's a book that he finds.
Anne Frank's diary.
Possibly Anne Frank's diary.
Probably Anne Frank's diary, yeah.
A lot of whispering written down.
But no, isn't 12 o'clock the witching hour?
It is the witching hour. So we then get a bunch of sort of... there's a jazz soundtrack from the local lighthouse radio.
Great station.
And there's just a lot of weird sort of shit late 70s, 80s jazz.
But a big issue I have with this station is why does no one else in San Antonio listen to anything other than the Lighthouse radio station?
Yeah, there seems to be a dearth of rival stations or stations that are beyond the same town.
I know, right? It's why only this one? I mean, is it because of a Harvey Slimestein voice? What is it? It's just...
She seems to be... I mean, it's...
radio.
She seems... I mean, I want to know how she runs a lighthouse entirely by herself.
So is she some kind
That's a fully functioning lighthouse, and she's busy doing a shit jazz show.
Like
so who's running the lights?
Like the only person that I've ever known to run a lighthouse part-time was Paul Jennings in Round the Twist. and he couldn't even run that properly.
Exactly, he didn't have time for a radio show.
He was too busy sorting out gizmos and stuff, and stopping gypsy curses.
That one with that gypsy lipstick episode.
And the creepy one with all the flies and stuff. It's like, well...
And they were in Australia.
Oh, well, that's that too. It's Sleepy Town. Yeah. San Antonio Bay is different. It's like Ibiza, isn't it? So
I think it's just called Antonio Bay.
I'm not a geologist.
But yeah, so then we have all the cars. It all kicks off. Like, it hits the witching hour. Car alarms go off. A petrol pump falls on the floor. It's crazy. I mean, have you ever seen a petrol pump? A petrol pump hit the floor. It's madness. I mean, just all the windows shatter on the cars. Hero Tom Atkins, aka Nick, whatever his surname is.
Nick last name.
He's got a really beige name. It is like Nick last name.
Nick last name.
Nick main character.
Yeah.
It might be called Nick protagonist is driving his van down the road.
Nick love interest is driving down the street.
And he picks up, Elizabeth
Curtis. Jamie Slaucy Curtis Lee.
One of them.
Yes.
Anyway, all the windows pop on the van, which they don't seem too bothered by. They sort of go, well, that was weird. Shall we crack on? And it's like, well, no, all your windows are just burst.
Yeah, you should probably get some new windows in, right? Go to the mechanics or something.
And I'd be terrified. I'd be like, am I being shot at? Is there an earthquake? What's going on?
Well, I mean, this is San Antonio, though, isn't it? It's not like I don't know, Hackney or something. Like, windows get shot out quite often. Nothing
bad happens in Antonio Bay or San Antonio, Ibiza for that matter. We then cut. Yeah, then there's a weatherman who doesn't really have any. He's quite an interest. He doesn't really have any context within the film other than he sits in his little weather place and rings the DJ.
Well, he's one of those pervy fans though, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He's got that. It's like that Play Misty for Me thing where he's a bit of a sleazy caller, but he happens to be a weatherman, so he's related to the plot.
It's like he's actually got a job where he actually has to phone in and give the weather report to someone, but at the same time he still wants to get his nut off.
I mean, it's just handy that he's related to the plot, because otherwise there just would have been 20 minutes of the DJ getting rung up by some sleazy shit. Although, to be honest, I'd argue she leads him on, because everything she says sounds like a double entendre.
That's true.
It's like, it is proper mucky.
Like Jenny Francis on Choice FM, isn't it? It's just like... it's like, hi, I'm listening to some R&B. Hope you guys are listening to some saucy R&B with me. It's like, fuck off.
Shout out Jenny Francis.
Great woman.
But yeah, so he rings up and he's like, oh yeah, there's a bank of fog rolling in. Lo and behold, there's a boat in the path of it. And so it's not, it's not the, previously there was a boat of sailors, the one we mentioned that was sunk. They're like in the area where they sunk. That's kind of the plot layover. So they're hanging around in the fog. That's the end of that, basically. We don't really see, do we see? Is that where we see the pirates come in and raid the old boat?
No, they come in at that point. They come in.
So that's the first appearance of the villains.
It's that classic thing again of like, kind of similar to all the car horns going off and stuff. It's like all the electrics on the boat malfunctions like an Alfa Romeo or something. And it's just like... And it's like, all right, oh no, well, the electric's gone. Oh, what are we going to do? The temperature's gone down to sub 40 or something. I'm really cold. I need to buy a new plaid shirt.
I mean, they probably have Crag Hopper fleeces.
Well, of course.
Or Berghaus.
Berghaus.
Contemporary sailors. Are contemporary sailors rich? I don't know what they were in the 80s.
I mean, in the 80s, they wouldn't have been rich.
The thing is, I only know people that work on boats from Bruce Springsteen music videos. Again, in plaid shirts. So I don't really know what the realistic... I don't know what the realistic salary expectations of a 1980s fisherman are.
I'm sure Springer's kept them all wealthy. It is that thing of... They all kind of docked the boat at that point, and it's going to be, oh, right, we're all going to be adopted by these things. And like as a viewer, it's like, oh, God, this is boring. What's going to happen? It's like, oh, they're going to jump into our boat and kill us all. And that does happen. It does.
But in the cuts with our pissed up priest hero.
Great man.
He's a great man. Obviously, he's still stinking.
Still slosh, yeah. He's now reading Anne Frank's diary to a bunch of women,
he's had 42 creme de menthes, and he's reading Anne Frank's diary to the local townspeople, and he's sort of... Basically, we find out that the priest's grandfather was one of the original town founders who sunk the ship of sailors and caused this curse to hit the town.
Bitch, doesn't he?
I mean, he sounds wankered, is what he sounds. I'm surprised he can read. He's been drinking at this point for about 2 days straight.
Doesn't fall far from the tree, yeah.
But it's nicely intercut though. Like as the kind of as the sailors take the boat over, you know, you cut back and there's him reading the scriptures, and it's all very dramatic.
Yeah.
And obviously we then cut to the next morning, and everything's sort of calm. And actually, on that note, this is one of the best shot John Carpenter films I've seen. It's one of the only films he's filmed in a while where he's actually got real landscapes. Like Escape from New York is all sets. Yeah. Halloween set like in a fucking house, basically. Yeah. And a mental institute and a few streets.
Yeah, he's actually out. He's actually gone.
Big Trouble in Little China, all sets.
All in the house, pretty much. Yeah.
Whereas The Fog, you got these big sweeping seascapes and that, and the way he shoots it is actually a lot better. And they're shot in anamorphic, which for a budget film of $1 million at the time is pretty good.
Yeah. And considering they spent like half the budget on smoke machines as well.
50% of the budget was on dry ice and smoke machines. It's pretty, but I mean, the anamorphic thing, it's a shame he didn't do a film where he had, he just went a bit grander with it. He's never really, as much as I love him, all of his films, I mean, freely by his own admission, most of his films are a remake of Rio Bravo. But he doesn't really do, he's not a big scale director, he's very intimate.
No.
You know, the thing's set on a research station, everything's tight. Yeah, and The Fog's one of them ones where he gets to let it out a bit. And
he does like the kind of the low budget, but yeah, it's good that he has kind of still done it on a low budget, but still been able to.
It feels those bits of it. I mean, the smoke machines make it feel very low budget again.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like the Fog itself looks fucking gash.
Yeah.
But not gash, but it's pretty poor. Like it's standard smoke machine stuff going under the doors but the broad shots of the town and the beach and that are brilliant, and it gives it a bit of a grander scale than it might have had. But yeah, so there's like a nice sweeping shot of the beach in the morning. And the DJ in the lighthouse, her son's like running around the beach on his own. Which is weird.
I hate her. Played by Ty Mitchell. Absolute cretin.
I don't know if he worked again, but I wish he did.
I hope he doesn't.
I've never seen him in anything else.
Film,
to my knowledge.
Like, Mom. I want to see the Mom. I don't like the stuff. Can you come home, Mom? I don't like the housekeeper. He just needs to be put down.
He's as annoying children go, he's 10 out of 10 for peak annoying.
It's just like, imagine like Macaulay Culkin times 1,000.
But I don't understand why he's on a beach on his own, because she's at work.
I wish he got washed out to sea on his own.
And also, how many hours does she work? Like, he's literally, she's been there all night. He's on the beach on his own. Like, at what point are you going home, love?
The trials and tribs of running a late night radio station from a lighthouse.
How are you playing 12 hours of shit jazz a night and not having a Surely you're just playing the same stuff over and over. Then again, most jazz tunes are about 8 hours long, so you've only got to play 1.5 per show. But yeah, so he's on the beach and he finds a bit of wood saying the Elizabeth Dane, which of course is the boat that sunk 100 years ago, and blah, 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 blah,
and they
blah,
killed
blah.
all the people on the
basically the plot of this film is pedestrian at best.
I know, I mean, it's painted by numbers, yeah.
Yeah, but then, it is. There's no way around that. Yeah, so he takes that to his mum, who takes it to work, which I don't know why she takes it to work with her. He's like, Mom, I found this on the beach, Mom. And you're like, oh, shut up, you whiny cretin.
That's never explained, is it? Why
Cheers for that, mate. I'll just carry this to work for no reason.
It's like I'm going to carry a plaque that says Dane, just in case someone calls in and asks for Dane Bowers.
Just in case Dane Bowers rings up and asks for his plaque back. Yeah, I got a wooden plaque for selling 14 garage records. Can I have it back? Is that going to be all right?
What do you mean you're out of your mind? Yeah, but I mean, interjecting with that is the sort of the back and forth with Jamie Lee Curtis and Atkins on the boat that sort of washed up to sea. And
that's right. Meanwhile, they've potted out and found the missing boat, which apparently the Coast Guard and the police couldn't find. It was up to
some. It was up to some other fisherman who called it in or something. Like Atkins was getting Lee Curtis pissed up in some bar.
Yes, that's right.
Of course, the bar was into the same radio station. Like, what else would they listen to?
Who else do you listen to in Antonio Bay other than
apart from Lighthouse Radio?
Other than Lighthouse Radio, the classic Stevie Wayne's.
Exactly.
Stevie Wayne's late night sleazy radio.
Stevie Wayne's late night hour,
which lasts about 12 hours. The late night hour that goes on all night. Which again sounds like a double entendre.
Sleazy Waynes.
More or less her stock in trade. So yeah, they're in the pub. Probably everyone's just kind of mildly pissed up in this film. Like they're in the pub a bit half cut.
I mean, small town syndrome, though, isn't it? Everyone's pissed up in a small town.
As a man from Great Yarmouth, I can neither confirm nor deny that accusation.
There we go.
But yeah, so they're half cut in the pub, nip out to the boat, have a look round. It's the size of a pedalo. Takes them about a month to search, which is bizarre. Meanwhile, you intercuts with the priest explaining how his grandfather hid his sins in the walls of the church, meaning all the stolen gold from the pirates and the other conspirators and how they met. And so that's all intercut. And then they're on the boat, and you're like, it takes him ages to tell the story. It's quite, that's the main kind of plot strand.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, it takes them the same time to search 2 cupboards on a pedalo.
I mean, Anne Frank's diary is quite a long book.
I mean, yeah, if you're basing this on Anne Frank's diary, you got through it fairly quick. But then we cut to the lighthouse, and the bit of wood that's been found with the name on starts seeping seawater and blows up a tape player, which starts then saying 6 must die. So that's the number of people that died on the boat, and obviously that's how many. It's kind of like basically you can see where Final Destination ripped their whole franchise off from.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, this film, although not perfect, does actually perfectly underline how influential Carpenter was on the kind of the mechanics of horror.
Yeah, it's the king of horror, I guess. I
think Harvey Weinstein's the king of horror. But in terms of filmmaking...
in terms of filmmaking, yes.
John Carpenter's probably one of the top boys. So yeah, they're on the boat. They sort of give up and they have a little sit down. And Tom Atkins tells Jamie Lee Curtis about how his father found a doubloon and it's in a pocket. And then when he goes to give it to his son, it's disappeared. And it's all a bit mythical gold. And, And just as he's explaining this, a dead sailor with no eyes falls out of a cupboard, drops on Jamie Lee Curtis in classic horror movie scare fashion.
Yeah.
Which is good. I like that. It's good. It's classic.
See, I like that. It is classic, and a lot of things in this picture are classic though. It's like the ghost story at the start is classic.
And when we say classic, it's kind of interchangeable with the word lazy.
Yeah.
You can go either way depending if you like John Carpenter
but I mean,
or not.
I think if you're doing it back in like 1980.
Well, that's it. I think he was
classic.
one of the first guys to get in there and really push this stuff and do big like the synth score. As we said earlier.
Like there would have been more before, I guess, with like people like doing the old Frankenstein remakes and stuff and saying old ghost stories just before they tell a Frankenstein story, and even things like the Alfred Hitchcock hour, and like he'd be like. He'd give like some haunting story before he actually presents his show.
Yeah, they were strangely awkward.
They were like strangely awkward, but in kind of
a
creepy. I really liked it.
I admired them. They had this. They had a certain clunky.
Originality
to them.
It had like a double story, an odd charm to it.
After they've found the old body, they go. There's an autopsy, which apparently has been conducted by Dennis Taylor.
Of course.
The guy's got the most 70s NHS glasses ever.
Yep.
He's either got a plaid shirt or a weird like John Virgo waistcoat.
No, he had a plaid shirt. Everyone in this film has a plaid shirt.
I might just been thinking of Big Break, to be honest.
I mean, he might have been on Big Break as well.
I think he was. I think Dennis Taylor was on.
It's either that or Bullseye, I don't know.
I'd rather him be on Bullseye because Jim Davidson's a bit of a racist.
Also, I could... That is true. I kind of like to see him on a speedboat as well.
How was he on Bullseye? That's a dart show.
Yeah, but...
You're thinking of Phil the Power Taylor, surely.
I don't know pub sports.
I do. I do.
Great young
no, Phil Taylor was the darts champion. The darts champion that attacked with the hammer.
Yeah, great man.
But anyway, so Dennis Taylor's doing an autopsy on the sailor, and I still don't understand why Jamie Lee Curtis is in there. Like, they don't know. Like, she doesn't even know who the sailor is. So why have they asked her to ID the body? But she gets left alone with him because Tom Atkins goes out to.
He goes to
get a double decker from the vending machine or whatever.
Well, no, he goes to like have a private chat for some reason because like Jamie Lee Curtis might know the guy or something. I don't know.
Well, no, it's the other way. Doesn't Tom Atkins know the guy?
Atkins knows the guy. Sorry, yeah.
But so anyway, it's just another excuse for a classic jump scare where the old body comes back to life, sort of gives Jamie Lee Curtis a sort of a Weinstein hug. Yeah. Sort of a non-permissive.
But then the weird thing is like he then like falls on the floor and that's like the dead body is dying again. He carves out a bum crack on the floor. And
it's 3.
Potato.
I mean, it does look like a bum crack.
It really does. It's like a really crude looking number 3.
It is. It's not even if you're a half dead sailor on the floor of an autopsy room.
Yeah.
Learn to carve your freeze, man. Come on, straight at the top, hook, and then round. And then you've got the boat hook motif in there again. Oh, yeah. But they didn't. It does look a bit like a bum crack.
Lazy.
But obviously that's the 3, which is the lives of the sailors they've taken. And so there's still 3 more to go, 6 lives.
Yeah.
As the pissed up priest. I mean, we're making this film sound a lot duller than it is.
No. A little.
Maybe. Now I think about it. Now that I break it down in plot points, I wonder.
I must genuinely say that it is actually quite a good film.
No, I love it. I mean,
I was blown away from it, and like I have seen some films where I've been like, kill me now, much like USS Indianapolis, which we have reviewed before.
Oh yeah, check that out, episode 2.
Absolutely,
for those that want to go back and read
yeah.
about a proper Kill Me Now film.
Yes.
I mean, it helps that this one's not 4 days long. It doesn't have 14 sets of subtitles that don't work.
14 sets of prop shots that don't work.
But yeah, so yeah, he carves a 3 on the floor. Dennis Taylor sort of just looks confused the whole way.
Oh yeah.
And then the old town celebrations begin for the 100 years, and obviously as the midnight witching hour comes in,
Of course.
as the witching hour begins, the old fog starts to move in, and the weatherman rings, and rings the DJ. He's like, "Oh, Stevie, you smutty mouth bitch." I don't know if he says that.
Hey guys, how's it going? Good to hear from you. That's Stevie, what she says.
But she's talking about being up all night, and she's like, "If you've been out at sea and you're a little bit wet, and you're..."
I'm up all night, I'm being really randy. Oh yeah.
Point is, it's all a bit weird.
So
there's scenes where I wonder if it's distractingly smutty.
it is.
But
it
then there's
really
other bits
is.
where I wonder if I'm just thinking it's smutty and it's just her reading the script normally.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then, so yeah, the weatherman rings her and he's like, "Oh, that old fog bank's coming back in." And I think the wind's blowing in the opposite direction, or there's something to make it seem more mystical.
it's meant to be going like one way, and then all of a sudden it starts going the other way towards his weather station. And it's like, hold on, the old fog's moving towards me now. Blah, blah, blah.
And then basically it turns up and kills him while she's still on the blower. So
Had it
she is...
coming.
He did. Smutty.
Dick.
Smutty weirdo.
Absolute weirdo.
If you're going to abuse women on the phone, expect a weird fog to come under your door. Do weird things. Taste your own medicine, isn't it?
Oh, you won't call him Babe Station.
If only he rang Babe Station, he would have had a much better night. Or
Oh,
if
no.
he'd have got the 10-minute preview at 11 p.m, he wouldn't have even had to ring.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Could have just had his 10 minutes,
Yeah.
gone back to bed satisfied.
Yeah, exactly.
But so she then gets on the radio and begs someone to go to her house and save her son. Which, I get it, like I'd be worried if someone got murdered.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, how does she know where the fog's
No,
going
but
or not going?
she's at the lighthouse, so she can see the fog moving at this point.
But
So
why does she need the
looks
weatherman
out.
to ring her then?
She doesn't at this point because she can see it. It's like her lighthouse overviews the house that she lives.
I still don't understand how she runs a whole lighthouse on her own.
I mean that's a different question.
It's a logistical question for
we'll have
later.
to ask old Paul Jennings about that. But yeah, no, I don't understand that. But she loses her radio voice there, which is
She does.
important.
It's the first line in the film. We're about 45 minutes in.
Yeah.
And it's the first line where
Longer
she
than that, it's about an hour.
trying to smut someone up.
But the grandmother, the babysitter, or whatever, I don't know, she's like older woman who's looking after
Older woman number 3.
older woman number 3.
Older woman with no agency number 3.
She's looking after Ty Mitchell, the cunt.
Andy. Little
He
tosser.
died.
He's no Andy from Toy Story, is
And
he?
he's all like, so they say knock on the door, and Andy's all like, older woman number 3. I want to see who's there. Jeez, come on, guys.
Older woman number 3 with no agency is like, no, Andy, get away from the door. People bang at the door this time of hour, they're probably Jehovah's Witnesses or weirdos.
Just wait in your bedroom. Older woman number 3. I want to see. Jeez.
There's just so much complaining in this scene. It's just like hours of sort of whiny.
But it's all Ty Mitchell. It's
Yeah, that's
like,
what I mean. It's just him complaining endlessly.
I know, he's like...
It then cuts to his
bloody
mum screaming on the phone, and then his
Yeah.
nanny doing fuck all.
Well,
And
I mean,
the
she
contrast is amazing, but infuriating.
Well, it's
Like,
that thing of like... So if someone knocked on my door at 1 a.m. in the morning and was like, knock, 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 I've come to kill you, knock, knock, knock. There's smoke coming through your door, knock, knock, knock.
would they say knock, 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 or actually knock on
Well,
the door?
I mean, it's the same kind of thing again, isn't it? It's like they're definitely doing both things. I probably wouldn't answer, but of course
I'd
she
probably
does.
leave it.
She
Yeah.
does, and then like, of course she gets hooked in the chest or whatever. I don't know.
There's
She gets
more boat hook in there.
dragged out for 3 scenes.
Yeah, there's more. Yeah, more boat hooking. So that's 4.
Yeah.
4, and then he just sort of.
Well, I mean, Atkins, the great man, is dedicated to his radio station. Like, he won't change the station for love nor money. So he's listening to this. And he's like, oh my God, I've got to go and save that child. I've got to go and save that really annoying kid, Ty Mitchell.
Yeah, luckily, he's still sloshed in the pub with the radio on.
No, what is
Well,
it?
the thing is, imagine if he'd just been at home listening to a record.
Do you think, like, he got out of his car, got into the pub, and said, can you turn on Lighthouse Radio? And he'd be like, and then they'll be like, yeah, all right.
I mean, narratively, a lot of this film rests on people just always having local FM radio on.
Yeah.
Imagine if there was like a siege on London, and it's like, oh shit, sorry, I missed the siege because I didn't have Mode FM on. Like, I wasn't listening to Spoonie and the Dream Team, so I couldn't really save the day because I just put a tape on. I just decided I was going to put one of my albums on.
Even in a smaller town, like, I don't know, like Norwich or something, or I don't know, Exeter. Like, do you think everyone just listens to one station?
I mean, if you've ever been to Yarmouth, everyone does just listen to the beach or Broadland.
But that's 2 stations.
Yeah, but you still got a 50% chance of saving the day.
Yeah, but you don't hop out of your car and then end up in a pub and they're playing Beach from Broadland.
Hang on, no, you've been down the tramway.
Sorry about that.
You could quite realistically hop out of your car and run in the pub and they're still playing Broadland. I mean, basically, this plot only works in small towns full of simple people.
San Antonio.
But anyway, so Nick's got Mode FM on.
Yeah.
He hears over the radio that some pirates might be attacking the radio hosts. That's the other thing as well. The radio host is like, yeah, there's some pirates who live in the fog attacking my house and killing a babysitter. Can someone go pick my kid up? Someone's going to go, I'm not paying for your childcare, fuck off.
Exactly, that's what I'd say. Yeah.
Obviously, the protagonists of this film are like, we've got to save the day, let's go. And they're like, go and pick up little Andy. Which is, I mean, he's so annoying. I wouldn't pick him up. Even if you get there with the best of intentions, you think, oh, fuck this dude.
I'll get there, and he'd be like, oh, Nick. Oh,
you didn't bring the heated seats. Oh, Nick.
Oh, God.
Oh, Nick.
Oh, what do you mean no leather upholstery? Oh, man. Where are your windows, man?
As the fog comes under the doors, which is blatantly just someone with a fucking fire extinguisher. There's a lot of fire extinguisher and dry ice.
I looked this up. It said he spent like 350 quid on smoke machines.
He should have spent 700.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't. He probably should have done.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean.
Better fog going, yeah.
How the hell do you only spend 350 quid? If your budget's £1 million and your film's called The Fog, at what point does the budget team go, we're going to allot 350 quid to The Fog? What's the film called? The Fog? It's like The Thing. Imagine if The Thing had spent 350 quid on The Thing. Would have been fucking wank.
Did they?
No, they spent about 3/4 of the budget on the thing.
Oh, as they should, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like The Fog's not even got any stars in the thing. You got to pay for Kurt Russell. So like that's half your coin.
Well, anyway, the paper mache pirates, like they polish off the babysitter.
They dust off the babysitter, and he's just farting around.
They're like working through the house, like after killing her, and like see who else is there. And of course, this little Andy, Ty Mitchell, he needs to be buried.
Might have been buried by now. This is 1980.
Is he still working? Can we like find a way to?
He might have just been one of them cokehead 80s actors that just had a heart
Can we
attack
just like
in
end his
1993?
career somehow?
I don't know that he's done anything since The Fog.
I hope not.
We'll check down IMDb at the end. That can be. We'll put that in the trivia round.
Special features. Yeah. I mean, try and find him.
What I like is when they pick him up, they get him in the van, and for some reason Jamie Lee Curtis is now driving. They seem to swap roles. Like halfway through, which I quite like, halfway through the gender balance just inverts and Jamie Lee Curtis I'll take over.
It only lasts for so long, this gender balance.
No, Nick soon back in the helm.
No, it only lasts for so long because she gets stuck in a ditch and like Atkins is like, women drivers.
Oh yeah, and the DJ's stuck on the roof. Everyone's just kind of useless at that.
You're stuck in a ditch. Women drivers, I hate them. Oh God, why are you driving like a moron?
But I like when she reverses. She's like, there's like a bunch of pirates at the front of the van.
Yeah.
She puts it in reverse, and there's Nick going, reverse. And it's like, really? I thought we'd drive into them. At what point did we need that extra information to go away from the things that have just murdered the babysitter? Like, there's a lot of horror movie stupidity, that kind of straightforward simplicity. For reasons of convenience or budget, I don't know which, Stevie then's like, tells everyone to go at the church. I mean, I suspect it's because of the only set they paid to get built. So it's like, come on, everyone, get to the only set we have.
And old Lee Curtis's mother, what's her name? Jackie, is it? Jackie Lee Curtis or Jackie Lee, is it?
No, it's Janet Leigh.
Janet Leigh, that's
But in the film, she's Kathy Williams.
Kathy Williams.
I like how everyone's got indescribably plain names in this. Like, it's taken me so much effort to find everyone's name in this.
Yeah, it's like Bruce.
They're all called like Pete
Clive,
Smith, Bruce
Daniel.
White,
John Smith,
Pete Brown.
But I think like she calls in or something. I forget this part. But she kind of encourages everyone to go to the church. So then everyone just ends up at the church.
Which works out nicely. because that's where the end of the film's taking place.
Of course.
But yeah, so they're all in there, and obviously our great priest friend is still completely sloshed.
He's beyond sloshed at this point.
Well, no, at this point he should be unconscious. I mean, Father Malone has now been drinking for about 72 hours straight. I mean, I know Communion-wise quite watered down, but...
You see, this is the part where, like, Jackie's just... Oh, not Jackie,
Janet
Lee is just walking around the church, and he just jumps out of nowhere with his arm on her shoulder. It's like, ah.
Is that not much earlier?
That's not. It's right at this point.
God.
It's like... Why?
In that case, my note taking's all over the place.
It's like, were you passed out for like half the film?
Well, probably that would make it more believable. If he was like, sorry, I had the answers all along, but I've been conked out on the fucking bench for like 45 minutes because I just had 15 creme de menthes and a couple of Aperol spritz, and it's been a big one, you know. I heard about the pirates. It all got a bit much, so I thought I'll have a little, you know.
I ran out of Prince Diary and you drove me to drink, yeah.
But yeah, then they find that cross in the wall made of gold, which just appears.
You see, this is weird, this part. It's like, it turns like very end of The Graduate, this part. It's like he just starts waving the cross around. Like I don't know, somewhere between The Graduate and The Exorcist, where it's like the Christ of whatever compels you, while waving up a 24 carat cross.
There's a lot of Exorcist overtures in this. Like,
way too much.
Carpenter's definitely had a great time watching it. You can tell he's a fan. I mean, even like I said about the theme and everything. But yeah, so he's then waving the old cross about getting rid of the... Because when the pirates bust in, it actually looks really naff. When their arms come in the walls with and they've all got bandages on, and it's like...
That's what I say. I mean, it's like the paper mache pirates. They just look ridiculous.
They look like they've been trying to make Tracy Island.
Exactly.
Mid-90s Blue Peter style. For like half the film, and they're just covered in sticky back plastic and bits of cereal packet. But they come in the windows and it's like, oh, here's an arm. And I was like, that looks like a mummy's arm. I know John Carpenter's the maestro of horror, but like, surely he knows the difference between a pirate and a mummy.
And a bit when Stevie's on the roof and like she kicks one of them in the face and then maggots start rolling around it.
That's like, quite good though, I don't mind that.
I mean, I don't mind that bit. But
that's a far better moment than when Blue Peter Island, when Tracy Island comes through the window.
But at the same time, it's like some sellotape is attached to that maggot.
Yeah, there's a definite, there's a hint of masking tape to all of the... but again, as I said earlier, that's kind of...
To be fair, it's from the time, and I have a lot of time for that, because I much prefer that than CGI bullshit.
And as well, he made this on $1 million, which in dollars, which now, in terms of inflation, he probably had... That's nothing. Like,
What, it would be like a £6 million budget?
If that. Like, those films don't exist anymore. You either do a 500 grand film or you do a 10 million film.
I mean, they do exist, and you'll see them in Sunday Club, but...
No, they've all got better budgets.
Even Security?
Security was like 9 million. I think Security costs more than The Fog.
Shit.
I know.
Right.
Bleak times. This is what we're dealing with. People relying on computers instead of sticky back plastic in Tracy Island.
Check out Security. Go to pearlcitysoufflé.co.uk.
Links included in the podcast, YouTube upload, Mixcloud thing, whatever. I don't know. We're not even sure how we're putting this up.
Don't worry about that.
Point
Annotations.
Is, there'll be some links for you. Check them out. But yes, anyway, pirates roll in, and then like just as the priest decides, he understands at this point it's 6 for 6. Without them taking 6 lives, they're not going home, irrespective of the witching hour. So he's like, right, I need to take the old gold back to these boys. We'll put it to bed. You know, we'll save the day, which I respect, especially since he's been pissed all film. And he's the only one that's worked out how to fix this. Like, everyone else has been sober, and they still haven't got how to fix it.
He's a bit of a turncoat, though, because he's kind of kept the whole grandfather thing a secret from everyone else until now. Like, he's kind of known a bit.
Need-to-know basis.
And it's just like, basis. Now I know I've got to start waving my cross around and pretend I'm going to save everyone.
He goes to give it back. Knowing that
he goes to give it back, yeah.
And then Nick comes in, old Tom Atkins, still in his plaid shirt. He's not even changed. That shirt must stink. That plaid shirt must smell like Home Improvement.
Yes, of course.
DIY to the core. DIY. So he rolls in and he pulls him out just at the last minute, which is a classic, and saves him. And all the pirates disappear in a flash of blinding light. And the only... Probably where all the effects budget went, because they didn't spend it on The Fog.
Well, of course they didn't do that, no.
They didn't spend it on The Fog, they must have spent it...
Smoke machines on torches.
So they all disintegrate and disappear, and the priest is a bit like, well, why aren't I dead? Because I was meant to go give my bit to, that was the deal, 6 for 6, or, And then obviously everyone's like, oh, well, that's the end of another great day. And then obviously just at the end, old Priesty's had a big few days. sits down for a cheeky late night cap, one last drink, and then of course, very end, pirates come back, consume, which I like. I like that.
I like that.
And that's that classic Carpenter thing of like, at the end, all the people. This is a spoiler. If you've not watched a load of John Carpenter films, just stop now and come back later, because this really will ruin about 50%, if not 70% of his output, particularly his good films.
The Thing was perfect for this.
Well, exactly.
I loved it for that.
This and They Live.
They Live.
The classics. But in the last 5 minutes, when you think it's all kind of wrapped up neatly, the protagonist dies or the hero dies, and get And in this, at the very end, the priest sits down. He's going to have probably going to have a creme de menthe.
He's going to have a creme de menthe, isn't he?
I mean, he's had all the communion wine. There's only creme de menthe to go. It's after 8 p.m, so it's not even rude to do so.
No.
And obviously the pirates come back, and that's the end of that. And then the credits roll. And what a ride it's been. I'm a big fan. As I said, it's a bit cheap. Like, it is a bit cheap. But it's cheap in that way that you respect it, as opposed to cheap CGI that just looks naff.
Well, that's it. I mean, like, we've reviewed Ben-Hur before, and like we've gone over that, and it's like, well, that wasn't even done cheaply.
I think I'd rather not even provide links to that review.
I mean, me too. But I mean, that was done.
We're going to have to, because we didn't get enough hits on it.
Oh, that's a shame. But, but I mean, that was done on quite a big budget, and that had like big actors, like really well-known ones, and like this. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't that well-known at the time.
And no one else was well-known since.
No one else was well-known since. I hope Ty Mitchell weren't. Sorry, I've had a few.
We all hope Ty Mitchell wasn't a big success after this.
I really hope he weren't.
But no, it's a great example of like. I think it's a really good example, especially if you're a young filmmaker with a limited budget. This film, as I said earlier, it feels quite big because of the way they shoot the landscapes, and they shoot it in anamorphic, and all the shots, even the shots of the fog rolling in over the coast, which are blatantly miniatures. But they're well done miniatures, and that looks better than any CGI because it's tactile. You can feel it, and it feels like you can be there.
100% agree. I mean, like you can do that as much as you like in CGI. You can probably make it look quite good.
But it doesn't look legit.
It doesn't look legit. It doesn't look like actual moving objects, actual moving fog coming towards you.
It just doesn't have the weight.
I mean, the torches, they look a bit clumsy, sort of rolling in with the fog as well. But it still holds enough weight to be like, right, this actually looks quite decent.
And more importantly than that, the film relies on everything other than the effects to be a good film. Whereas modern contemporary horror, especially, relies on gore and visual effects to be a good horror film. This relies on the atmosphere and the tension and the unfolding of the plot, which obviously long-term hold up far better than any VFX stuff ever does.
I hate to bring it up again, but Ben-Hur did that. Like, it was, the main...
I don't know why you keep bringing it up. It's like, it's getting fucking ridiculous.
It's like I just hate the film so much.
It's fucking awful.
It's like the original Ben-Hur relied so much on a chariot race, which was really good because it was real horses, it was real horse racing, it was real going around the Colosseum or whatever, with the amphitheatre, and doing it really well. Whereas in the remake, it relies so much on CGI to do the horse scene, and it just looked ridiculous. It was like a horse doing buckaroo in the stands and stuff.
And it's like all these other things with this. The more CGI, there's no weight to it. No matter how good it's no matter how efficiently it's rendered, it doesn't feel tactile. There's no weight. There's no grit to it. It doesn't feel like it's actually hitting things.
I mean, it can.
But it rarely does.
It rarely does, and a lot of the time, a lot of filmmakers sort of they had unrealistic elements to it. So why is the horse in the stands doing the buckaroo movement? Why is the car in Fast and Furious launching on its front wheels for like 5 minutes before it lands down again like it's doing a wheelie? Like, it's just ridiculous. It doesn't need to happen. It needs a little bit of realism and a little bit of stupidity that is enhanced by props.
And I think that's the thing that the fog really does do. It's got a nice balance of that kind of cod mystical nonsense.
Yeah.
Like a woman in a lighthouse who can run a lighthouse by herself whilst running a popular radio station.
Paul Jennings.
I mean, if you've ever been to a real radio station, Radar's got about 4,000 people working in it. They couldn't run. If you went to them, can you just, whilst Murky Ace is on, can you just do the lighthouse as well? They'd be like, no, we haven't got time. We're running a fucking, we're running a radio station. We can't just ding a lighthouse on top and help some fishermen out. But apparently this woman can do all that. But no, the point is, it's that tactile thing of there's actual things that they feel tangible, no matter how supernatural the story gets. The location and the people and the visuals feel like they really happen. And to do that on $1 million, $1 million even, you know, I mean, shooting on anamorphic and shooting all those landscapes as well as they do help. And Carpenter's just a master of, he can just ring that sort of, that energy and that sort of...
But he's a great man for this, though, because, like, he's had films, even before this one, I'm sure, that had been, like, critically, like, thrown in the bin. Like, no one's actually really enjoyed them straight away.
Yeah, he's one of those guys...
Even at this point. Because, I mean, like, there were films afterwards, like Big Trouble in Little China, like The Thing, like most of his other classics.
Well, Big Trouble in Little China sunk.
It sunk massively.
Massively. It was one of his biggest. It was It was almost the start of the end for him. Actually, Big Trouble. He was so ahead.
I mean, that was what, 88, was it?
86.
86, yeah.
Yeah, and but that was like mocking kung fu films before most of America had seen kung fu films.
Yeah.
So they didn't even get the spoof references because they'd not really got into that cinema enough.
Yeah. But I mean, that's a eccentric thing.
You know, same as Assault on Precinct 13 wasn't like, you know, it wasn't a classic at the time. I don't know about Escape from New York. That might have done a bit better, but this in particular, this didn't do so well. And you know, it was one of those ones. It's now got a warm place in the hearts of film fans, as it should, because and I think it's that thing. It's kind of like it feels wholesome. Like although it's not the perfectly executed film, you're like, it's just a great concept. It's nicely shot, and it's a nice simple idea, and it's not. They don't because it's a simple idea. Normally now, if it's a simple idea, people try and dress it up too much to cover up its simple.
Of course, yeah.
Whereas this just takes its simple source and does it in a simple way, and just does a decent job of, you know, recreating what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, what it is, and it's got a fucking good score.
Well, yeah,
the score is a banger. It's one of Carpenter's best, even though it's one of his earlier ones. And apparently, as well, I was reading he didn't up until I think it was Escape from New York. He made the scores without watching his films back. He did the scores separate to the film and then just kind of bolted them together. So yeah. Well, this one's quite Mike Oldfield. It's got a lot of like twinkly piano stuff, and it's more like you can tell he's watched The Exorcist and gone, that'll work. But it's actually, I think it's one of his best scores actually.
I like it.
I think it's one of his better ones. I like all of his scores as well. I even like the shit scores that everyone hates. Everyone loves John Carpenter now. You're not allowed to say you don't like him anymore because he plays analog synths. So
of course, at the time, I mean, it was perfectly acceptable to say you don't like him. I mean, it's normal to say you don't like him.
Yeah, this film didn't actually get particularly good reviews.
Nothing did particularly good reviews on Halloween.
That's a good point. And that's not particularly good.
I know.
It's got massive problems.
Probably his worst one.
No, that's not true.
Even slightly accurate, but
Ghosts of Mars or Escape from LA is probably his worst one. But that's another Sunday Club altogether. Well, we are actually doing that for Sunday Club at some point.
Get to that one.
No, we won't. We are going to get to that.
Sorry about that.
I mean, I'm hoping it's going to be number 11.
I mean, if we still have a fan base. Yeah, that's been a Sunday Club for another week. I hope you've enjoyed it.
So it's episode 10. That was The Fog. John Carpenter's The Fog, not the 2005 remake. I've not seen that, but it's probably shit.
I mean, I've not seen it. But
maybe that could be a Sunday Club for another day.
I
don't
really
know.
hope not.
I'd rather not.
I looked at critic reviews. Rotten Tomatoes were like 4%.
I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes with anything.
I don't trust it either.
They said The Expendables 3 was rubbish, and frankly, I'm not having it.
Wow. Well, I wouldn't have that either.
Exactly.
I've not seen it, but it's got Slying, right? So,
yeah, and it's got Harrison Ford lazily playing a helicopter pilot.
Great man.
So I won't have any of them bad reviews.
No.
But yeah, anyway, if you want to get in touch about the show, you can catch us on Twitter. It's @only_Ashley.
That's correct.
And @BurmaShave_, or obviously @Purple City Co. for the main stuff. Make sure you give us a repost and all that shit, because no one actually listens to anything anymore unless you pay.
True.
And we're sick of Facebook.
And do like and subscribe on Facebook if you are on it. Despite us being sick of it, we might actually respond to you.
Yeah, unfortunately, we actually do need you to do that.
I hate the world.
It's horrible, isn't it? We can't afford to pay for ads, so we need you to be our ads and just subscribe and do all the stuff that we can't pay for.
But that
we
aside,
spent all of our money on Heineken for this.
Well, you've got through about 6 packs today.
We've done all right.
That aside, though, I really just hope that you enjoy it and encourage us to carry on doing it, because we're going to do it whether you like it or not. But,
Yeah, it's happening.
You know, it would be nice if people actually enjoyed it. So,
And if you do have any films you'd like to hear us review, get in touch and give us a shout.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, don't ask us to review Ben-Hur, because we'll come around your house and end your family.
I've already done that and pissed on someone's surrounding tree, so I'm not going to do that again.
Exactly, we don't want that. We've done our time. But yeah, if you've got recommendations for us, stuff you'd like us to check out, or if you're a filmmaker and you've made an absolute bag of shit, well, no, you probably won't admit that. But send it to us and we'll tell you it's a bag of shit. Or it might be really good. I mean, you know, we're not judging early.
It won't be good. Anyway,
To be honest, if it's going to make it on the show, it's probably going to be a bag of shit. Anyway, get in touch. You know where to
thank you
find
for
us.
listening.
Big up.
Take care.